Hey guys, welcome back. So I've been waiting on this one for months, and all I really knew going into this, aside from the title, Wolverine Revenge, all I really knew was that it was written by Jonathan Hickman and illustrated by Greg Capullo. So after I saw that, I was like, yes. So with that said, if you enjoyed these videos, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications so we can squad up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so going into Wolverine Revenge, this starts out in the Savage Land in Antarctica, and all we really know heading into this is that 10 days ago, Magneto's space station asteroid M came crashing down into the atmosphere, and while it was burning up upon re-entry, Magneto would breathe his last breath, and when he died it released the largest EMP in the history of mankind, and ever since the Northern Hemisphere has been dark. So 10 days later, when we head over to the Savage Land, we see a group of zebra people searching for a great beast, and as it turns out, they're accompanied by Wolverine. And just right away, with this starting in the Savage Land and us seeing the zebra people here, this story already has an old school feel to it, because we really don't see or hear much about the zebra people that often. But nonetheless, as they're searching for this great beast, these guys are like, we gotta be brave, our people are counting on us, and Wolverine's just like, I guess you're lucky I was in the neighborhood. But it isn't too long before one of them sees that the beast is nearby, and as soon as they do, they just take off running. So for a moment, Wolverine's just like, yeah, that's how it goes. So much bark and so little bite. And as soon as he says that, the Triceratops he came riding in on, it catches a whole lot of bite. So next, Wolverine takes this thing head on, and it just chomps down on him. So with half of his body in its mouth, he starts tearing those gums up. So for a moment here, he's just like, yeah, that's what happens when you run into something meaner than you. Because just before this, the hunters were telling him how after the sky flashed with that bright purple light 10 days ago, things changed, because prior to that, the great beast would hunt deep in the jungle and leave them alone. And they told Wolverine after the sky flashed, it started hunting their villages. So their people were too afraid to even sleep. And one of these guys even asked Logan if he knows what that's like. So he was like, nope, but my enemies do. So yeah, Wolverine's ready to show this thing that he's as much of a threat to it as it is to the local tribe. And not even so much for getting payback for the sake of the zebra people, but Wolverine's pissed because he's supposed to be out here on vacation. He was trying to unplug and disappear. So yeah, he's ready to take out his frustration on this thing. Then out of nowhere, it catches a headshot from Nick Fury. And the thing is, Fury, he's come to recruit Wolverine and get him to join up with a handful of others because he has a plan to get things back on track after the fallout. But to his surprise, Wolverine really has no clue about what's happened to the rest of the world. So Fury tells him, while you were down here, disconnected, the entire world has lost its mind. Worse than that, it's on its last leg. I'm here to recruit you, Logan. I need you. America needs you. So Logan tells him, hate to break it to you, bub, but I'm Canadian. So Fury tells him, bad news on that front. I'm sorry to say there really isn't a Canada anymore. So I figured you might make an exception. So following this, we find Wolverine aboard Fury's helicarrier, where next Fury tells him and a handful of others, we're estimating that 100 million people are already dead. But I suppose we should be grateful. Asteroid M came in at an angle and detonated above Quebec. Bad for all of North America and most of Northern Europe and Asia, though it probably spared a couple billion lives in India and Southern Asia. But the fact remains, what we knew as the West probably has less than a week before it's gone for good. And those millions very quickly become billions. So Fury goes on to tell Wolverine and the others he was only able to survive because he was in the middle of a mission on the other side of the globe. And he tells Logan the SHIELD fleet had 20 fully functional helicarriers in operation when Asteroid M blew up. But now these are the last 3. So Captain America, he gives a very Captain America-like response because he's like, hey, shouldn't we be focused on helping as many as we can over there? So Fury tells him, Cap, the EMP it released was strong enough to fry absolutely everything. There isn't a working phone, computer, light bulb, train, plane, or power plant for thousands of miles that will ever work again. The only way to save people is to find some way to turn the lights back on, which is exactly what we're doing. This isn't a military operation, gentlemen. It's a heist, and that's the target, Tunguska Station. We're 100 miles out from it now, and if our intel is correct, it's the home of the only cold fusion seed reactor to ever exist. 2 problems, of course. It ain't ours, and it is theirs, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, which we believe is currently being run by Mastermind, And as it stands, this begs the question of how did the station survive the EMP blast? Which they don't know at this time, but we'll find out in a little bit. So next, Fury tells them that he'll be running the mission from the sky, while cover is provided by Clay Quartermain, Maria Hill, and Dum Dum Dugan. And while they're in the 3 helicarriers up above, Captain America will head down with Winter Soldier, Wolverine, and a strike team to head into the base. So for a moment, Nick Fury asked everyone, "Can I count on you?" And everybody's like, yeah, except for Wolverine. He's just like, well, what else are we gonna do? So classic Nick Fury gives them the old school send-off, as he tells them, everyone say your prayers, get right with God, and be ready to do your job. And as they approach their destination, 20 minutes later, one of the helicarriers is just blown out of the sky. So right away, Fury's like, where did that come from? Only for Dum Dum Dugan to confirm the attack came from Clay's helicarrier. So Fury radios over to Clay, only to hear Mastermind speaking through him, as Clay's helicarrier turns towards theirs. So Fury tells Cap and the others they've got to jump now. Which from here, this makes what was already a small team even smaller, because now it's just Cap, Bucky, Wolverine, and a fraction of a SHIELD strike team. But as it turns out, when they touch down and regroup, come to find out they're not too far away from the station. So to continue with the mission, everyone splits up so they can get in closer and regroup at the north side. And as they make their way in, Bucky makes sure to tell everyone to be careful out there, because they don't know what they're walking into. And as soon as these guys split up, we start to see members of the group get picked off one by one. And it's not really a secret as far as who's taking them out, because we know who each of these guys are at a glance. But with all the SHIELD agents being taken down quietly and quickly, this causes Bucky to realize when he makes his way down and he doesn't see anyone else there. This causes him to quickly realize that something's gone wrong. But by the time he figures it out, he gets snatched up. And next, when we go over to Captain America, who's just surfing through the snow down the side of the mountain on his shield. When he gets to the bottom, he takes a moment to behold the beautiful landscape, only to get blindsided and snatched up by some carbonadium tentacles. And following this, when we head back over to Wolverine, at this point he's already sniffed out the 3 of these guys, as well as the blood on each of them. So Wolverine tells Sabretooth to step out so they can get this over with, and Sabretooth lets him know Deadpool wanted to kill Logan from a distance, while Omega Red wanted to gut him up close. But they had to refrain from doing either because their boss wanted to have a word with Logan before they shut his eyes for good. And I gotta tell you, seeing this reminds me of the old Deadpool I remember going into the 90s, back when this guy was way more mercenary than Mouth. And I mean, the Mouth has always been there to some measure, but for those who know, there was a time when Deadpool was the kind of mercenary who was just about getting that money. So if you had a price on your head, that was it. He's gunning for your head and that's all there was to it. So to see this story go back to this Deadpool, this caught me off guard. Because when I first heard about Wolverine Revenge a few months back, all I saw was Jonathan Hickman and Greg Capullo, and I said yes. I didn't look into too much after that, because it's like, what else did I need to know? But yeah, with us getting what seems to be this classic version of Deadpool, that was just a bonus. But following this, the 3 of them end up taking Wolverine in, so he blacks out, only to wake up next to Cap and Bucky, where all 3 of them have bombs planted in their chests. And it's not too long before Mastermind shows up to let them know the details and explain to Wolverine how he went through a number of permutations and combinations of Omega Red's death spores just to stunt Wolverine's healing factor long enough to get the bomb inside of him and behind his ribcage. So right away, Bucky tells Mastermind if this is some kind of plan to blackmail them or coerce them into helping him out, then he's wasting his time, because that's not going to happen. But Wolverine knows right away that's not at all what this is. But instead it's more like these guys are just playing with their food. And he's not surprised to see this from the likes of them, though he did expect better from Colossus, who steps in and immediately addresses the heist Wolverine came to pull off. Because the way he sees it, Logan and the others, they just want to take the seed reactor because they think it's the right thing to do, as if the world just owes it to the West. So for a moment here, Wolverine's like, oh, so you put a bomb in my chest just to lecture me? So Colossus tells them, like, perhaps I should let you go home to prepare your people for a cold winter and bury those who don't survive it. Which according to Nick Fury, that's gonna take the millions of deaths into billions. So Deadpool butts in and he's like, oh yeah, the bombs, that was my idea. Think of it as a deterrent. See, I got my finger on the naughty button, just in case you decide not to leave. But between you and me, I hope you don't, cause I really wanna mash it. So next, they end up setting Wolverine, Cap, and Bucky free. So Cap and Bucky get up out of there, but Wolverine, he stays behind, while telling them he's not gonna make the trip, but they should go and let everyone know what happened here today. So next, Wolverine tells Colossus, like, you want me to come up there, you gonna come down here, so you can explain yourself. Cause it doesn't make sense how the EMP took out the lights everywhere surrounding this area, but miraculously their lights stayed on. So Colossus tells him this was thanks to Unus the Untouchable, who sacrificed himself to protect this place. So next, Deadpool's like, oh, there's the theme for today. Everybody's gotta go sometime. Better go out with a bang, I say, as he pulls out his remote with a Captain America button, a Bucky button, and a Wolverine button. So he detonates Bucky first, because, you know, Deadpool, he likes Cap more. But just after that, Cap, he gets it too. So next, Wolverine starts clawing his way into his chest to get his bomb out, because as soon as he does, he's gonna make every last one of them pay. But as Wolverine is tearing himself apart, Colossus tells him, I wish it didn't have to be this way, Logan. But it does. Someone must lose. And this day, it is the West. And it is you, old friend. As Deadpool hits that button, Wolverine's insides come blasting out. And after this, Colossus and the others leave, with plans to take the seed and relight their half of the world. But after they go, the puddle of Wolverine's remains rejuvenate and bring him back together. Because now, it's time to get revenge. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here, who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/DopeSpill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.